Hello and welcome to the playthrough of The Mission by White Dog Games and Ben Madison. This is the start of the game. We've got to do some setup and then we'll get into turn one. So we've already got the axe track, the turn track here with the game turn marker on turn one. We have the sequence of play that's available for you, and our counter sheet. All the counters are available as well. Up here we've got the counters that we'll have to sort out and put into cups or on the board for the setup, and we'll go through that. And we've got our Dark Ages and Solidus markers available on the zero track already. So the first things we do is we can take our silver wafers and we can put them into the wafer cup, such as it is. We have James the Just, who will go into Jerusalem, and we have all our other apostles, one for each of the tracks, and they're available in Jerusalem as well. They move, James doesn't. Then we have three Ebionite heresies here. So these are put into our heresy cup, which would be the blue one here. Our Pax Romana counter goes into the policy box. It's currently Pax Romana, always defaults to that. Our Roman capital, surprisingly enough, is Rome. The Roman army, it says to place it, but to be honest, until turn 15, it has absolutely nothing to do. So I'm just going to leave that off, actually. We have our Roman Empire, pagan Roman Empire boundaries. So we are in Britain, Tingitana, and Thebes, and where else are we? We are in Danube Valley, and finally we are in Albania, I believe. Armenia, sorry. So there. So that's the extent of the Roman Empire around Jerusalem. As you note, there's nothing on the green track here. It's the Persia area, and we will do Persia now. So it is Zoroastrian, and as you see, it's got the three purple dots here, which means those three spaces are tolerant, but we've got three counters here for Persia. We've got the average helpfulness, very helpful and not helpful, and we randomise those. So let's just stick them in a cup here and then place them as we can. So we'll do Ctesiphon first, and that's not helpful. That's a bit annoying. Persia is average and Merv will be helpful. So we put the 5 Jewish counters here onto the surrounding areas of Jerusalem except for Cilicia. Shall we start with Rome? We'll start with Rome. So Rome has a 4 Jewish counter, and then we'll move across to Antioch. Antioch is a 3. Ctesiphon is a 4. Alexandria is a 3. And Cyrene is a 3. Okay, so that's our Jewish setup. Right, so all we have left now is the cult of Isis and the cult of Mithras. So these are determined randomly, so we do that with our 2 dice version. So the blue dice will be the pathway, the white dice, of course, the distance from Jerusalem. So we'll start with Mithras. So this counter will appear path 4, number 1. Number 1s are not good. Path 4 is Persia, and so this Mithras is a heresy that's got in our way. The next Mithras is 3-3, so 3 is the Caucasus track, and 1-2-3 is Albania. Then we got our cult of Isis, which are helpful. The first one is going into, it's one of the ones, so number 6, which is there, so it's in Cyrene, so that will be helpful to us. And finally 5-5, so that's far away, that's way down here, so that will be Ladia there, so not very useful at all. We'll get there eventually, but yeah. So that's our setup really. We've got our wafers available, we've got the Ebionite heresies there. I'm just looking at the board. Our problems are going to be here, of course, with the Mithras cult in the way. The Jews here are a bit tougher than the others. These are tough as well. So Ctesiphon is just going to be awkward for us. Everywhere else is okay, especially Cyrene, which is good. One thing I will say, it's very useful to get moving quite far on North Africa. So we want to get to Carthage, because if Carthage isn't converted by turn 3, or for that matter Constantinople as well, then it effectively becomes a Christian heresy itself, with a pope which doesn't agree with us, sort of an independent pope, and we kind of have to convert it. Now we've gone with the setup, we can get on with turn 1. Right, for turn 1, we go down our sequence of play here. So we're in the history phase. First thing is, does a new era begin? Yes, well, it's the start of the game. We're in the white period, the apostolic period, but there's no special rules. The kind of setup includes any special rules there would be. We've got nothing special happening this turn. There's no other entries here, so we don't need. There's no new heresies. We don't have a great theologian. There's no council, and all these specials happen much later in the turn. And we can move the Roman army if we want to. But as I say, I've left it off the board because it really is rather irrelevant for the moment. So that's our history phase. That's fairly straightforward. So the secular phase, the first thing we do, of course, is to draw a wafer. So let's do that. We put it into the wafer box. So immediately we know there's going to be a heresy pick. But let's run through it. So the first thing we do is check how much money, how many solidi we get. We get 3. We don't earn any more because we've got our tracks with 3 conversions plus a pope. So we just go to 3 here. And that's that done. There's no Roman policy change because there's no red dot. There's no rulers to set up. Draw and place a heresy. Well, yes, we do. So our Ebionites are going to make their presence felt. Now, Ebionites, normally the heresies will come anywhere on the board and you do the standard random calculation with the dice. However, with Ebionites, because they are a Jewish sect which accepts Jesus but none of the Christianity bit, they will only appear on the Jewish areas. So with our Ebionites, we actually get to choose where they go, so it's not done randomly. So let's see. Maybe it's worth... we've already got Mithra there, so we need to go... I think as we haven't got that far to go, we might put him in Alexandria, because that's our major city there. It's going to be close at hand, but doesn't necessarily block us too badly in comparison to the others. Right, so that's place of heresy. Well, there's no epidemic because there's no EP symbol there, and none of the other things are relevant at the moment. There's no hordes and there's no Islam. So then we just take this marker and we put it away. Now we've done with that phase, we're on to the religious phase. So this is when we can do something. So say we've got the idea of moving an apostle, or moving an apostle costs some money. However, there's a free option you have, which is very, very useful, is that you can move one of the apostles for free. You don't pay any money, but you have to roll the dice to see if he gets martyred. So paying the money means he'll definitely get there. So we need to put these apostles onto the right track. So usually if we need to roll greater than the distance from Jerusalem, so then when they move to their first base on a 1, they're going to be martyred. But that's a good risk, I suppose. So we're going to start with Peter going to Rome, and we roll to see. A 2, he's fine. We'll move Paul to Cilicia, and he's fine. So when we arrive in these spaces, now normally you would pick up what's known as a field tile randomly out of the field tiles, but we already had Jews here. In Cilicia we don't have any, there aren't any Jews, so we do the field tiles. We haven't actually put them in our cup yet, so let's do that. And and then pick out randomly one. And we have some aesthetics, tough aesthetics actually, here. So where else do we go? Barnabas. We'll certainly send Barnabas here, and we roll. Don't want a 1, and we don't. Again, we have Jews here, which is fine. Thomas has the tough job with Mithras, so we'll move there, and again for free. Hopefully he survives, and he does. Mark is going to Alexandria, and he is martyred, I'm afraid. So the Ebionites really didn't take to him. Now, when the apostles martyred, you turn them over to a relics counter, which is not very useful until later on in the game for a change, but it is worth victory points if you keep it throughout the game. And what you do is you replace him with the relevant bishop. So what we need to do is to get that's A, that's the wrong one. E is what we want. So now a bishop has taken his place. Now bishops don't get this free move. You have to actually pay for bishops to move. That's the main advantage of the apostles here. And Jude is heading over to Cyrene. See how it goes. He survives as well. Okay, so we could do some conversion now, or we could push a bit further. One thing we can do in these areas, because we have James the Just, is that we can get a free conversion attempt while James has not been martyred. So he can do the attempt, and if he succeeds, he's fine. If he fails, then he's martyred in Jerusalem. So it's best to try and use James on the lowest or the easiest spaces. So for example, in Cyrene here, we have a difficulty of 3. We need to get greater than that. We have a cult of Isis here, so that gives us +1 effectively. And the present apostle also gives us a +1. So we get our dice and roll. We don't roll a 1, and we rolled a 1. So 1 + 2 means that James actually didn't succeed, and now he had the right, and he doesn't get replaced by a bishop. So that was a good start. Beyond that, if we want the other apostles to convert, then you again have to pay. We only have 3 money here. I think we will get Jude to try, and again, if he fails, it will be a martyrdom for him. So we are on a +2, and we will pay for that. Yep. So all we do when we succeed, we get rid of the cult of Isis marker. That's not useful in the game anymore. And we have some observant Jews here who converted to Christianity. Great. So we've got effectively 2 more attempts here. So we can push Jude a bit further maybe. We could look trying to get Barnabas here up to Armenia maybe. So we might do a conversion here, I think, because that's a 2, that's a 3, and it's a +1 on the dice for Barnabas himself. Nope, that's a failure. So he is martyred as well. I had that wrong. A failure for Barnabas is just a failure. He's not martyred. It's only when he moves for free it's the chance of being martyred. James does get martyred in the fashion where he was. I was correct on that. So Barnabas failed. So we should move our solids down to there, and maybe, yeah. Let's try again, shall we? Yeah, let's try again on a +1. Yeah, we succeed that time. So we've used our money up, our solidus up, but we have 2 areas converted. We can keep moving these apostles if we want to, and I think we will. I think we'll try and get Peter over to Milan. Now he's 2 spaces away, so we need to roll greater than 2, and we do. So now he's in an area without a field tile. We draw 1, and we have slaves here. Shall we push him more into Spain? Yeah, we could do. He can't go backwards. Bishops can go backwards. It's a bit like chess here, but apostles can't. I don't think we want to wait. Well, we could wait for an attempt to convert there because it's only a 2. So let's keep going with others. So we'll move Jude, and we've got a 1 or a 2, and we're fine. Again, we pull out. Oh, we have the poor here. I think we might stick there for the moment. Or maybe go a bit further. We need to get to Carthage, as I said. We can't do anything with the bishop because he will cost money, which we don't have. Paul will move to Anatolia, and it's fine. So again, place a field tile there. Oh, it's all tough in Asia Minor, unfortunately. 4 and 4. Barnabas, we will move up, of course, to Armenia. That's important. 2, so he is martyred there. But even though he's martyred, he does discover the field tile, which is kind of the important bit, really. Slaves. So that's again a tough spot, and we place our bishop for C. So we have a bishop here now. Thomas, as that's so tough, I'm going to keep him going. So we'll go into Persia, and we'll roll for that. A 3, he's okay. So let's see what's available in Persia. Poor again, not a bad place for conversion. Where else do we want to go here? Do we want to push? I think we probably want to push Thomas. I'd like to get to this -1 if we could. So we will move him. Now we're looking greater than a 3. He's still happy there. They accepted him. So we have some martyrs. Okay, interesting enough, this has got one of those hexagons on them, which means it's a defensive unit. So that will become useful if we convert it in the future on the borders of Persia. I'd like to push Paul further for to get to Greece, because these 2 places are not very easy to convert. And unfortunately he's martyred, but we do get a tile. Hopefully something a little bit easier. No, we've got some martyrs. Again, a nice tile, but tough. So a range of 4s there. 4's about as tough as it gets, so it's going to be difficult there. And we need our bishop to be placed where he was. And finally, I think I do want to move Jude on, actually, so we can get to Carthage. So let's roll there. That's 3 spaces away. He's good. It's all right. It's going well in North Africa, and we have women. Okay, but he's not a bishop. He's an apostle, so that's fine. So poor and women is very good here. I think we should get him to Carthage now, so that we're at least there, and a bishop would appear there. So let's move him on, even though he's on a 5 or a 6 to survive. No, he doesn't survive that. So he is martyred there, but what do we have available in Carthage? Oh, look, another woman. So we do put the bishop out for Carthage, and do you want to get any further? I think I want to Peter here, so we can do a decent conversion here. So I think I'm probably going to call a halt on that. So that is our religious phase. No other actions we could really do. And so we're on to the end of turn phase. There's no Dark Age collapse, and the Persian religion is safe. And there is no apostasy, because there's no heresy in a space that we've already converted. So that's that for turn 1, we move on to turn 2. So hopefully you've got some idea of what's going on here. Asia Minor is going to be really tough. North Africa very easy, and the others kind of variable here, but we have at least got to Armenia, and we've got to Alexandria, and we've got to Carthage. We've got those major areas sorted. Still worried about here really, because Ctesiphon is our major city, and we've moved on from Rome as well. You don't need the apostles and you don't need the bishops to actually do a conversion. They just give you your +1s. It's very useful to have them there when you're doing that. Right, that's it for turn 1, and hopefully we'll see you turn 2 for the next video. We'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.